First of all, I'm going to tell you about sugar, then about meditation, and the last one is fasting. I chose these three because they seem to be the fastest way to achieve optimal concentration. And of course, we must also mention good sleep among these three, because without a good quality sleep, the brain is tired, and as a consequence, it will lose all of its ability to concentrate and learn. Eliminating sugar completely seems to be one of the most difficult and perhaps impossible things in our life. But stay tuned, because at the end of this video, I will give you 2 solutions or 2 tips or anything that you want to call it that helped me a lot to stop eating sugar. And now, almost it's been 4 months, exactly 3 months and 2 weeks since I didn't consume any artificial sugar, and also I don't have even crave for it. Based on science, we talk about the influence of sugar on the parts of the brain, especially the frontal lobe and hippocampus, which are involved in memory learning and things like that. The bigger problem with sugar on the brain is it alters the inhibitory parts of the brain, and as a consequence, we have a less control over our brain and over filtering these extra data that's coming in on us 24/7. It also ages the brain, and many other damages that it can have for our brain, such as reducing blood flow to the brain, and I'm not aware of all of them because definitely I'm not an expert. The second one is meditation. I'm sure you all know about the benefits of meditation and its effect on the brain. With meditation, we force our brain to focus on a specific thing like heartbeat, inhale and exhale, and etc. in a quiet environment. If you're a beginner, it is more difficult for us in the beginning, but as time goes by, we see how much easier it becomes to sit, meditate, and concentrate. There are different types of meditation. Meditation for focus, mindfulness meditation, meditation for stress, and so on. But we can almost say that they all have a very good and somehow similar effect on our brain. The last one, which again goes back to the diet, is fasting. I don't know how many of you are familiar and know about that we are, as a Muslim, have a specific month to fast all that 30 days intermittently, and this is an obligation. And the way that we fast as a Muslim, it has a specific way for itself. But fasting in general means abstain from food or some kinds of food. I personally do fast every day, which means I only have 2 and sometimes 1 meal a day. I eat my first meal between 12 p.m., 1 or sometimes 2, and my second meal is around 4:40, and between them there is no snack. After my second meal, the rest of the day until tomorrow 1 p.m., I'm fasting. I don't eat anything except water. This schedule is not exact. I'm just giving you something that you know. General discipline is like this. A few days ago, I read an article about neurogenesis. For those of you who don't know, that is the process of creating new nerves and is stimulated by brain-derived neurotrophic factor. In that article, it mentioned 3 things, and one of them was fasting. I put that short article down to the description. You can go and read it. And the last thing that I want to add is, if fasting could be with ketogenic diet, that could be even better and more effective. I personally like to do it, but I'm not always successful. Here's also, I write down some benefits of them, these two when coming together. Now, the first one was not eating any sugar. I did 2 things, and when I started doing the first one, I was not aware of existing second one. By existing means simply I didn't know it. Well, the first one is to eliminate it slowly. Restrict its consumption. For example, forbid yourself to eat any sweets inside the house. Then, don't eat any sweets in friendly gatherings. Then, promise yourself that you will not eat sugar anywhere outside the house. In this way, you will slowly get rid of it completely. The second way is much faster, and simply the first 2 or 3 days might be difficult and you will crave sweets. But then your desire to eat sugar will disappear. In fact, there is a rule, which is by getting rid of sugar, you get rid of the craving for sugar. It's not just sugar which causes craving, it's also carbohydrates. So if you reduce carbohydrates, you'll be much successful for not craving sugar. I remember the first time when I wanted to not consume any sugar, I could only resist for 2 weeks. Not because I had a lot of craving for sugar, just because I wanted to eat that yummy chocolate. The second time, it took a little longer, something like 19 days or 20 days, I can't quite remember. And like this, as time went by, I was able to resist better, and most of it goes back to my knowledge about the harms of sugar for the brain and body. I almost automatically avoid sugar by knowing all these bad effects. In addition to all these things that I told you in this video, there is a lot and there is a bunch of videos in the YouTube that you can go and watch them. And I'm sure they will help you in a great extent.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح